Welcome to Meet the Heroes, where I'm introducing the Hero Pantheon, what they are, why you'd want to play one in the first place, how to put a team together, and how the team plays. You might already be familiar with a lot of the heroes. The heroes are, in fire, Yamato Takeru, in water, Andromeda, in wood, Perseus, in light, Sun Wukong, and in dark, Pandora. Now, they all have pretty much the same skill and leader skill, just obviously appropriate for their own color, and they all share almost the same awakenings except for one. All of them have a bind recover, 2 skill boosts, and a time extend, and 1 row. And some of them have a second row, like Pandora. You'll see Yamato instead of a second row has a 3rd skill boost. Perseus, instead of a second row or a 3rd skill boost, has a 2nd skill bind resist. And I think Andromeda shares the skill bind resist with Perseus, and Sun Wukong is a 2nd row, just like Pandora. Now, their active converts 1 color to your primary color and another color to heals on an 8-turn timer. So that alone, that active skill, put together with their great set of awakenings, makes them a prime sub for any team of that color. Pandora is welcome on just about every dark team I can think of. Same with Perseus to green teams, same with Yamato to red teams. They're fantastic awakenings, and they're a fantastic skill. But they are also amazing as leaders, and they also pilot some of the best farming teams that are the most consistent with the highest firepower. And how does that work? Well, looking at this leader skill, it does look rather lackluster. Now, it's kind of hard to decipher. It's one of those skills that doesn't really tell you everything just in the game text. Attack increases when erasing 6+ linked dark orbs up to a maximum of 4x. Okay, but you know, what else, where does that start? What does it scale up to? When does it scale there? So what that means is if you connect 6 orbs together, which will almost always be a row, you really shouldn't be putting 6 orbs together any other way but a row, although you can if you chose to. 6x would give you 6 connected orbs would give you a 3x multiplier, or with 2 Pandoras, a 9x. And 3x is like the baseline attack multiplier for just about any leader nowadays. If you're gonna run an attack leader, it's gonna have at least 3x to its attack, otherwise you're probably gonna pick somebody else. 3x is kind of where we draw the line in the sand. I mean 2.5 if everything else is great, but 3. So it's a 3x multiplier god, with the option to spike up to 4x or 16 with 2 when you want to. And to get to that 16, you have to link 8 orbs together, which means a row plus 2 orbs. And I'll show you 3 different ways to do that in a bit. So essentially Pandora is a 3x god that can become 4x to spike. And still, that doesn't sound that great. Why would that be a great farming team? Why would that have a lot of firepower? Well, it comes in abusing the row enhance, because this leader skill is so synergistic with row enhance that they go so well together that it just makes sense to put a team together for rows with these as leaders. Now, if you don't have the right subs for this, if your subs aren't skilled up, chances are these heroes are better off as subs on your team than a leader. But if you can pull together at least 1, if not 2, 5-turn orb changers that are max skilled, and you can get at least 4 row enhances, and with a leader like Pandora, her plus your friend is already 4, then you can play your hero as a leader. So here, when I make a row, each of these row enhances is giving me 10% extra damage. So I'm getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and plus my friend's Pandora will make that 80 and 90%. And let me hop into Endless here, just so I can show you how this works. But so that's already a fat increase right on top of my Pandora's attack. and on top of my Pandora's multiplier. And then you add enhanced orbs on top of that, and then you're getting some really decent damage. So to put together a team for a hero, what you need are, like I said before, a couple fast orb changers. In fact, your entire team can be orb changers. You might want to save one slot for some kind of burst, be it something like a full orb enhance like this, or a spike like Lubu here, or King Batty or something like that. But the awakenings you do want to stack are going to be row enhance and skill boost. Why? Because although Pandora does have a 3x that can convert to a 4x, that 3x can also just as easily become a 0x. If you don't make a row, you get no multiplier. Now, Japan just patched their heroes to improve them, and made it so if you match 4 orbs together, so like for a prong, then you still get a 2x multiplier, or 4x for 2 Pandoras. So in case you just don't have the orbs and don't have a skill, you can still prong and get damage with the heroes, which makes them even better. But you do need to make a row every turn, which is why it's so important to have 1 or 2 fast changers to really prioritize max skilling your hero and run it with a friend that's max skilled. And then I'm just running an extra board changer here that does synergize with one of my orb changers. And other than that, this is a mean farming machine. I mean, what else can I say about it? I'm just running it into endless to show you how it works here. So here I don't have a row. Don't be afraid to pop your actives. Use them liberally. So if I just put 6 orbs together, and I'm just matching more to go with it, you get a 9x multiplier. That's 3 plus 3 and whatever enhanced orbs are in there. And if you're having trouble making rows, I do have a video on row basics that helps you put rows together. So that's a 6x. Now there are 3 ways to get the 4x or the 16x multiplier. One way I call the tail. You put a row together like this and you have 2 sticking out anywhere. I usually put it at the end, but those 2 can be sticking anywhere. And they can be on the left, the right, the middle. They just need to be sticking out. And they don't have to both stick in the same direction. You can have one sticking in each direction, but if you do that, you do have to make sure that they're sticking in the same direction, in opposite directions in the same column. And here's what I mean by that. I'll do it right here. Like this. So that also gives me 16x. And I kind of like to call it the sword because it does tend to look like a little sword. And the last way to get a 16x multiplier is to lay 3 flat on top of your row. And here's what I mean by that. Like this. And those 3 can be laying anywhere as long as they're touching the row. They match together with the row and give you 16x. So that is the very basics of a Hero Pantheon team. I'm going to go ahead and run it through Starlight real quick, just so you can see how it actually functions in a dungeon. Okay, so it's really consistent, like I said. Here I don't have 6 dark orbs. I'm gonna go ahead and punch an active. Don't be afraid to use your actives. Obviously there are some you want to save, and if you don't need one, don't use one, but you know, if it could help and it's not a floor you can stall on, then go ahead, pop an active, it shouldn't matter. And here my junk colors, just so I know, are blue. Blue is my only pure junk color, because lights can be converted to hearts, and Vampire can break those hearts. Okay, here it's a pretty bleak board. I'm gonna punch a Pandora. And Pandora, also, the good thing about those hearts is it does help clear off your board as well. Oops. I really thought I had a row built there. Must have bumped it. Oh well. Still enough firepower. Okay, and here I do have a row. And can even see it's just blasting straight through all these floors. You don't need to make the 16x on a floor where there's not a sub-boss, but if you know you can't take a floor in one hit, definitely go ahead and make that 16x. I mean, normally when you play teams, like, you tend to, you know, try to save all your actives for the end. You don't want to use them, you're trying to save them. Heroes are fun to play because they let you just kind of go wild with your skills. You can just kind of pop whatever, whenever. Okay. And let's see. We've got a bunch of guys here. What floor am I on? Floor 6. I'll go ahead and pop Hanzo here for the reds. And again, if you're having trouble making rows, check out my row video. I kind of go over the basics of it. Essentially, you're just tracing down the line where you want to make the row, and you're turning whenever you hit an orb, and then jumping back in the first available slot. So here's the first available slot, and I've hit an orb under me, I turn, hit an orb under me, turn, an orb above me, turn, just like that, and you just go through. You bring orbs up to the row, and then you just turn to pull them into the row. Okay, we're getting right near the bosses here. I'm going to stall one turn to make sure I have Hanzo up for the last floor. The team does have a very good amount of recovery. Okay, I think I have enough dark orbs. Ooh. That sometimes they just keep Skyball. Was that 6 lights in a row? 3 and then 3 more lights? I think that was. Okay. Now floor 8. Most teams with most teams with any recovery can just tank this guy. I could use an ability here, but I'm actually going to take one turn to clear my board a bit and just make sure I can try to get some more decent stuff to change on here. Alright, this is looking a lot more change friendly. Okay, so here's where I begin the 16x multipliers. The top right there, that's already 16x. There's a row from here to here with these 3 lined up right on top of it. That's going to pop and make 16x by itself. So I'm just going to leave that alone, actually. And I'm just going to make another row. I'm going to save this dark. Yeah, it just blasts straight through them. Okay, and now we have Chaos Devil Dragon. I think I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to pop Pandora, and then I'm going to pop Vampire. Okay. I'm pretty much just going to do the same thing here. As you can see there, that top is set to 16x and so is this bottom. I didn't match optimally there, I'm just getting a rough match. So you can see there are optimal ways to match boards with the heroes, and I'm going to go into that in a future video as well. Okay, so then now for Zeus, I just pop my board change. And just for the icing on top, this is probably enough to kill Zeus already. But for the icing, I'm going to enhance it. $16x with that many orbs, that's definitely a kill. Yeah. And so row teams, like you can see, they do plenty of damage, and unlike most other teams, they require a lot less thought, and they still manage to wipe out every floor. You're not trying to plan out combos every turn. You're not wondering what the board's going to give you. You just pop an active, you form a row and try to get some combos with it, and every floor just disappears beneath the power that is the hero lead. So if you haven't played this team already, and by this team I mean any hero team, go ahead, try putting one together. It's really easy to put a team together, even from fully farmable subs. The only hard part is starting to skill up the subs, but once you get some skilled up orb changers, this is a great way to abuse them. Thanks for watching, guys.